First on the list, we will continue the public hearing, DEP 182478, N-Star Electric. For the applicant,
Denise Bartello, Eversource, Environmental Affairs Coordinator, Senior Environmental Engineer, sorry. And coordinating the permitting for this project, and Doug Vignew from VHB is here as well. So since the last time we met with Ken Thompson in the field. He had asked that we provide him some information regarding the footprint of the trees to be cleared over by the Holbrook Station, to which we did. And we identified trees that were greater than 5-inch DBH that were within the 50-foot buffer zone, which he asked. They are flagged out in the field. And there are 15 of those trees. And then we discussed the work that needs to be conducted in wetland 57, which were the tree trimming, the side trimming in the wetland, the vernal pool area off Damon Avenue.
yes.
And we had our arborist out there, Bill Hayes, and we went over what needs to be conducted, the fact that we will need swamp mats out there in order to actually protect the soils so that we wouldn't be rutting anything up. And he agreed that we would need a time of year restriction, which we feel that we can certainly abide by, which would be between November 1st to February 28th that we could conduct the work. And then also that no machinery is allowed to cross that wetland during the conduit stringing, and which is in accordance to what we had proposed anyway. And after that, I think that was basically it. We did speak while we were out there with the Tolsons. They are abutters that they were here the previous time, and we will have a letter to them actually this week, agreeing to some sort of planting plan that's mutually agreeable between the Tolsons and the company. It will occur after, well, the letter they'll get this week, but the planting plan will be after the trees are cleared, so this way they have a good idea as to what needs to occur in order to provide them with the proper vegetation to give them the buffer.
Now, do you have a plan for us as how you're going to mitigate for the
trees, the 15 trees, yes. So we are offering a 1-to-1, a donation of trees to the town. Of course, not within our buffers, or not within our right-of-way, just because we don't want to plant incompatible trees within our right-of-way. But if we could donate those trees to the town for wherever they would deem a useful place for it, that's basically an offer that we give for mitigation for that requirement.
Just to make sure I get the right number, 50?
There are 15, 1-5.
15, 1-5,
yes.
Okay. So when would the plan be done for, ideally we'd like, we'd like to see them replanted in the vicinity of where they're being removed, so it doesn't have to be exactly where they were, but somewhere in that. I don't know if you can work that into the mitigation plan for the abutters that are being affected by that.
I think that we can do that. We'd have to be off of our right-of-way property, but I'm sure that the abutters wouldn't mind using that towards some sort of screening. I guess the concern is just making sure that we're able to provide them with the proper vegetation. We don't want to provide them with any sort of tree that wouldn't grow successfully there. It would have to be something that...
I might add that, the trees that are there now are blocking out all the understory, so the view from their home is really quite vivid because there is no understory there. So what we really discussed with them was, rather than putting in trees that would be, become mature trees along their perimeter and whatnot, would be more of a screening activity for them, because
like an evergreen
when they sit on their back porch, they don't want to look at the substations. But right now, with the way the vegetation is,
there's no understory.
It doesn't get blocked, So planting mature trees at that location, you know, we were thinking more that if we talk to someone in Parks and Rec maybe
Right.
here or something like that,
I mean-
maybe they'd have some idea of where they might want them elsewhere in
Right.
in the community.
I mean, the mitigation plan as far as the visual, you know, we're willing to do that and work with the homeowner. You know, I don't wanna force trees down their throat if they don't want it, as well
Mhm.
as, you know, again, making sure that we provide them with the proper plants that would be successful in growing there. So that's why, you know, we're gonna work separately with the Tolsons, and provide them with a planting plan that works for them and for us, and then offer the 15 trees to the town. You know, perhaps it could be used elsewhere.
Do you know what kind of trees we're losing? What species were they?
They're a mixture. There's pine down there, white pine, there's red maple, there's some, you know, silver maple. There's a lot of dead standing trees down there as well. But you know, whatever is amenable to the town, if they want decorative trees or whatnot, elsewhere, flowering trees, you know, that would just spruce up an area, that a park or something like that. That seems to us to make more sense than trying to put trees back where we're removing them, because they're just gonna have to come down again in the future, so.
And at that point too, we will be letting, you know, compatible vegetation grow underneath, so it's not like we're denuding the area. You know, we are going to promote a scrub shrub, you know, wetland.
Do we have
So-
a map of the area?
We do
Oh, yeah.
have,
The area is, and this is the triangular area that Ken had in this, but it had previously been shown on the plans as well. So it's basically this area right here, from the corner down, sort of triangle. So that's the existing tree line. We have to put the new transition structure here, and then so there will be clearing down in this location. The wetland comes across like that. And so that's sheet 8 of 9. So it's this triangular area right here that we're talking about.
Okay, and the limit of your right of
Right
way
here.
is the black line? Is that it?
The black line here.
Yeah.
So this is the tree line here now.
Yep.
And so this is
Oh.
where
at
it'll
this
be
point now,
clear.
it becomes the substation.
So it's 0.1 acre of
Right.
wetland area here and about 0.5 acres there. This isn't really heavily vegetated up closer to this is a stone wall
Yep.
in the back of their yard.
Mhm.
And this area is, like I say, it's, because of the tree growth that's in there, mostly the pine trees and whatnot, the understory is kind of
Decimated.
gone. And this is, you know, the pool is no longer there, but when they sit, they can see it, you know, you just run it through the other blocks.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're committed to doing that for them, but the 15 trees is something different.
Okay, we can just, something that we can discuss with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a wetland nearby in the area that could use something, because we're losing some maples there, but the pines, they can be, you know,
Yeah.
placements for those can be put anywhere, because they're not as vital to the wetland as the red maple.
Yeah, I might add also this wetland area here, a lot of the trees are dying in that wetland right now. There are red maples in there, but if you were to go down there and look at it, you'd see that a lot of them are already, for whatever reason, if there's any other activity down there, I don't know, but a lot of the trees are already kind of on their way out. So Ken said, you know, the clearing the wetlands is one thing, and then
The trees in the buffer, the
Trees.
50-foot buffer.
Is that showing up right now, is that on the Pine Street side that you're looking at, or is it in the wetland area, or both?
The wetland area is here, and
it's between Pine Street and the
Pine
substation.
Street, yeah, it's got Pine Street to the substation.
Not on the opposite side where the vernal pool is.
Okay, so this is the area where the Tolsons are? Is
Yes.
that what you're speaking of?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we should just give it some thought. I know it clearly doesn't make sense to put them back in an area where they're just gonna have to keep trimming them back.
Mhm.
I might add also, Chairman, that, you know, I don't know how much you want us involved, like with talking with Parks and Rec, or if, you know, I mean, we could do that, you could put that in the order, and we could try and facilitate that discussion with them. And, you know, we'd be happy to do that, if that's something that, you know, you guys want to have your hands off of it at this point and just put it in the order, then that's fine, and we'll try to work through those, that course of action, either through the town manager or the Parks Department, or whoever is best to discuss it with.
I have another,
good.
I have another question. Elaine Highland, and I'm up on Damon Ave, but over where the vernal pool is, I know you're talking about the Pine Street here, but what about tree removal along that whole
We're not,
corridor?
we're only trimming the side. We're not cutting any trees, we're just tree trimming.
I think that's something that we can run past Benji and see what, you know, DPW, and see if they have any places that they'd like them, right?
Yeah, as long as we don't have any places we feel we need them
You're
in
right,
wetland
yeah,
areas
yeah.
first.
Yeah.
And Ken already went out and walked this whole area, right?
Yes.
Yes, it
Also in the vernal pool side?
Yes.
Yes. I think you went
Let's
with Ms.
give Ken a note and
Highland
ask
as
him
well
if he
as
thought
with
there was
us.
any place along there that was outside of the right of way
Mhm.
that was a wetland or a bordering area that he thought maybe could use a little sprucing up with some extra trees first.
Yeah.
And then if he said, the area looked fine to me, then go ahead and turn it over to Parks.
Yeah, okay.
But let's first ask him, since he's walked the area in detail, if there was any place that could use some bucking up with extra trees.
Yeah, at the exclusion of the right of way, of course, if there's.
Yeah, no, that's what I said that first.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to put them where they're just gonna have to keep getting trimmed back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there any comment from the public about any tree removals?
Well, I was just concerned about anything happening in that whole vernal pool area. And that was one thing, and I'm still opposed to the project. And I have you've got everything that I've submitted so far as to my reasons why, good wildlife and natural vegetation, destruction, and I know the swamp mats and everything, but I still think it's gonna crush it. And I just have concerns about that conservation area.
You don't have any,
Wetlands.
on the vernal pool side, do you have anything, what do you have planned beyond the tree trimming?
That's it.
Nothing? Okay.
Just pulling the lines.
We'll pull the
but
line
they're-
through,
But
but-
they're not going through the wetland to pull the lines, so that would be the only, that's why we requested that they do it hopefully
Right.
while the ground's frozen to minimize impact and whatnot, so.
Yeah, I mean, it would, obviously it's gonna fill up again, but it's dry as a bone right at the moment,
Yeah.
so hopefully when it freezes over, it'll be similar to that.
Yeah.
In this time of year, I know you said November 1st to February 28th,
Mm-hmm.
that's not this year.
No,
No, it's any,
So what's the anticipated date? Do we know?
no, we don't know construction date right now as to, first off, I think it was 2016, 17? at this
17
point-
probably.
At this point, just with the DPU process. But this is more of a time of year restriction so that we don't go and do side trimming at any year, you know, outside of November 1st to February 28th. So it would be November 1st to February 28th, whether it be 2015, 2016, 2017, and so forth. So it's,
Right.
Yeah,
it's like a
it's-
fairly
it's-
typical time of year
yeah,
restriction.
it's beneficial for the clearing the trimming process to
trimming
be under
process.
frozen conditions, so, just makes everything easier.
This is all gonna be in writing? You're gonna have this all in writing to the
I'm assuming
commission?
part of the
It
order
will
of
be
conditions.
part of the order, yes.
The order.
Yes.
And that's all that people will get copies of that, I'd like to get a copy, is that?
You can request a copy, yes.
Request
that's
from
what
the
we can.
commission.
Any other comments? Okay, so do we have a motion to continue until we get some clarification from Ken about the tree placement?
Yeah, I move that we continue to the next meeting so we can,
October 5th.
October 5th at 7:30. So we can, in the meantime, can confer with the consultant as to where he wants the trees and finalize what we want to put in for orders.
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous.
What was the date on that, please?
October 5th.
Is that 3 weeks? I thought it was every 3 weeks.
It's every 2 or 3 weeks depending.
Yeah, it could
No,
change.
that's not good to me. I'm
Good.
trying to.
Yeah.
Could change depending.
Oh, it can change, all right, so it is October 5th though,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
I know, huh? Yeah, that's it.
Pretty close to the before, we'll be back.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. October 5th, okay. Yep.
We haven't gotten a report from Ken on his walking the site since then.
I saw some emails about him walking the site and whatnot, and he came up with the time of year, we talked about the time of year and whatnot, so.
So, I mean, let's just have him give us a complete, talk about the trees and then any specialized conditions he thinks
Yes.
we should include.
Mhm.
Get all that information at once.
Mhm. And we can close.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you later, thank you.
Moving on, Mr. Kevin Kane has asked for a bond for 9 Bel Air Drive. DEP 182463.
So I assume he wants us to release the bond, or?
No, that's for a
he's-
partial
he-
release.
I have a letter,
Oh, okay.
unless you wanna.
No, that's fine, we're just looking for a partial release. We happen to have a situation where a buyer came in last week that needs to close by the end of the month. So it's all landscaped, hydro-seeded, but it's not, the grass won't be, to your liking. And Charlie has the as-built with him, so we'd just like to do is similar to what we did over at 77, if we could get a partial release. And we need post a bond for the grass.
Okay.
So what's the letter say?
Say that again?
What's the letter say?
You should have it in your phone.
Oh, okay.
Could we see the plans, John?
Oh, of course you may. Sure I have a copy.
Oh, okay, I see. So what we're talking about is partial
Partial, everything except.
compliance.
Yeah.
Certificate of compliance
Certificate of compliance.
with
Oh,
a
sorry.
bond he'll give us a bond if required because of the, I get it, okay.
Sorry, I worded it wrong.
Give that one to Kevin, he doesn't know what he's looking at right now, so.
That's what he pays you for, right?
Yeah, I know. We're working on credit and bad checks nowadays, it really helps us with the IRS at the end of the day. The only thing that's a little bit different on that is, the house isn't the exact same style that we had, okay? And we have a side entry garage going in rather than a front entry. But we did in fact put additional roof drains in, we originally designed, I believe, okay, Thank you for pulling that plan out. I think we had designed a total of 4 roof drains.
Wasn't that on that plan? Did I see
Okay.
anyway?
No, I guess we didn't put any roof drains in on this. But actually during construction, we put in 2 sets of 8 roof drains, 1 in the back and 1 in the front.
Okay.
Okay, so all of the back ties into these,
Mhm.
all of the front.
2 sets of 8 or 2 sets of 4?
2 sets of 4 each,
Total of 8.
for a total of 8.
How, so you're running the roof drainage,
Yes, all of these downspouts are tied underground and go into these roof drains.
through pipes or?
Through pipes, to 4-inch
Okay.
PVC. And all of the front ties into downspouts. There's a downspout here, one here, they TY, and then one comes down here and ties into the actual drain itself at the end. And then these 2 pipes tie together and go into the middle of that one. And the back is very similar.
I don't know if it matters, but in the future, could you kind of pencil in
Oh, sure I will.
those things, because it looks kind of weird to see a plan like this, and then roof drains that far away from the house with no connection,
Yeah,
you know
and figure
what
out how
I'm
they're
saying?
connected. Sure, I'd be glad to. As a matter of fact, like I
But-
said, we're gonna be coming back before you anyway, right? So if you'd be nice enough to grant Kevin the partial, I'll actually add those to this plan, so you have them on record. Other than that, you can see he did not go into the wetland. All of the grading and all of the construction work is outside the wetland. And the silt fence, other than one small corner over on the right-hand side of the property line, is in fact well in front of the wetland line.
We just did some repairs today to the silt fence too, just one spot that was not.
Have the order of conditions in the file? Notice anything outstanding?
grade up to the sidewalk. Is this all coming down to the sidewalk?
Everything is grading towards the sidewalk, the front of the house. We have a 196 contour around the front of the house, and then on 195, and then the street itself is at 194.3, 194.3. So everything kind of pitches from the front of the house kind of towards the street.
They have problems with the street flooding.
I think that's the runoff from that land on the other side.
Yeah.
It just runs. It's funny, today was, I happened to be there with the hydroseed. First day I have never saw, it wasn't running. But the opposite side, it sheds right off the top of
Yeah.
that open land. It runs like a river down that street all, I thought, I would've said it was all year.
Yeah.
But just, I noticed today that it wasn't running.
Yeah.
But, I don't think we're adding to the road. But it does, it's 194.3, but then the sides, I think it ends up going back around the
Yeah.
side.
Well, that's how it was
194,
proposed, but it's
right,
not-
rolls around the side.
Catching everything off the roof too. It's not, yeah, which is a plus, you know, but,
But with the curb being on that 194.4, and the actually the front yard, that 194 on the right-hand side picks up, so it goes down between the two neighbors' yards.
It's 30 feet over grass, like, you know. So it's not, you know, it's not
Yeah,
a paved
yeah,
surface,
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
you know, it's a lawn.
yeah,
And nothing's gonna be coming from our roof, cause everything goes.
no, I see that, which is
infiltrated.
good. That's gonna help hugely.
Like I said, we,
You see any issues with that, Joe?
I don't think so, cause
Is
it's,
it?
it's not,
And it was definitely gonna come around here on that
Yeah.
point.
right.
I think it does there too, because it has that little up,
Well, it
goes
does,
up
on
4
this,
tenths.
on the proposed plan, it was 195 at the house. And then 194 tapering to 193 to 192 into the back. Like,
Oh, okay,
see
gotcha,
that?
yeah.
So you
Yeah.
got, you added a foot here.
Well, you know what ended up, I think then they have to pull it up in the air with a lot of water problems in that
Oh, yeah.
neighborhood, and
Yeah.
I had them next door.
Yeah.
So we actually have a super involved drainage system underneath the foundation, so we don't have that problem.
Mhm.
But the other one we built, it was perfectly fine, and all of a sudden, I was having water problems
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
couldn't believe.
Well, once the, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why we're trying to, let's
Yeah.
avoid that, but I thought by the, you know, the 194 here, it does come down, but then it will come back around the 194, drop down to the 93, because his
Yeah.
yard starts to go back up.
Yeah.
The neighbors got double
Okay.
driveway there. But
And there's a small area in the front, but most of it's shedding
Yeah.
around.
diagonally.
And the only thing that's really picking up is that small front area.
Like
Everything
you said,
else is
the only
going
thing
to
that's gonna be caught on that is, you know, rain from the sky.
infiltrates.
The water came around,
Right.
no doubt here. So it would be just the runoff from that, you know, obviously. Roof
Yeah,
drains.
like, I'm thinking right here, it's gonna, but then here it's shutting off
Yes.
in that direction and
Yep.
here, so there's a small amount there, but
Yeah,
I don't think it's,
significant.
And that water won't be coming from the roof, that'll be coming from the sky,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
you know, on a newly seeded lawn, so it's really not. Since-
125 is your frontage, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's not even on the two sides going back, so it's kind of a jog right there, I guess.
Well, I-
It is, so it's comes to kind of like a point as it goes out. And as you can see by the size of the lot, it's 1.13 acres. So there's a lot of wetland in the back. which obviously is gonna remain untouched.
Is that something significant?
That was probably a tree there at
Okay.
one time.
And how's the driveway pitched?
To the street, yeah. Is there any
Is it or
way
is
we
it,
can get it?
is it flat? I
No,
mean-
the driveway pitches a little right to left, and then it goes right down into the back. And
Well,
You don't
not
It
really.
probably
We
pitches,
don't really show any grades on the end of the driveway. We show a contour line, but
But
we
it-
don't really show any
I think
spot grades.
it goes from the street to the front corner of the garage. It pitches from the house to the street, but then the driveway pitches away from the house, right to left.
Well, yeah, but if it did, it wouldn't be 194.4 on both sides. If it's pitching down this way, you wouldn't, this wouldn't be.
I think
No, at the sidewalk, it's level, yeah.
Yeah, I think what Kevin's trying to say is from here back, it goes back, and to be honest with you, we really don't show that.
Yeah.
Okay, we should probably have a couple of spot grades at the back of that
Yeah.
driveway to show you, and we usually do that, but
I'm sure it's pitched from the garage
Yes.
coat, right?
Left- Well, it's pitched left to right across the,
Right,
Yeah, I'm sure it's
right here, right here,
It's this way from here to here,
Yes.
and then goes from here to here.
yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, we should have showed
So
you
it'd
some
be
grades at the back
it's
of
okay.
that,
Mhm.
like we usually do. I'm sure we've got those shots, they just didn't make it to the plan. So I can add those roof leaders,
Yeah,
and I'll
that-
give you some more grades on the driveway itself, so you can exactly see that.
yeah, definitely we need those.
And as you can see, we have 1 foot contours, which are twice as much as you require. You require 2 foot contours. So we try to be, we can also add some spot shots if you feel you need them. Oh, thanks. But we definitely should add some more grades to that driveway for you.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, not on the plan, the other question for us is, if we're gonna issue it, do we want a bond, and if so, how much?
What did we do the last one, 2,000?
2,000.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything in this that makes this any more serious, so.
No, and it
There's
should
no
be
need for more than
conditioned
that.
also with the grades
Right.
in the, submission of the new plan.
I'll be seeing you on the 5th, so I'll bring those plans in that night for you, just to add to your record. Is that,
well,
is
yeah,
that
but I
good?
mean, that's, no, I'm hoping that we can, if we have
How
post
fa-
a bond,
how-
post a bond and get a
Oh,
conditional
okay.
Yeah.
approval, and then when the grass grows to it.
When did you need the partial by?
Well, I need it, this week, the 28th is when they're closing.
Okay.
So it's just very quick, I didn't give me any time to get anything ready, but I don't mind posting the bond, you know, whatever the board feels, makes me comfortable, is fine.
When could we have a plan ready?
As quick as you want it. I didn't realize it was, you know, I mean, if you want it tomorrow.
Can you get it here before we leave?
Of course I can. Give me, I don't know if I have a blue pen on. You don't care if the grades are the real grades, just something I make
Oh,
up?
no, we want
Oh,
the real
real?
ones.
Then I can't get it to you tonight. I could hit, tomorrow's Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Tomorrow's
Tuesday.
Tuesday, I could have it here Wednesday,
Okay.
if that's okay.
I mean, just look at the grades on the corner of the driveway.
I'm
On
sure
the
we have
driveway
them.
and
The tie-ins.
yeah, the tie-ins, yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
We're glad to do that.
And then I'll go out and take a look at it, and if, you know, as long as everything's up to par except for the, you know, established one, then.
So would you like us to issue a partial with those conditions to be approved by you during the week so that you can give him the?
Once the inspection's made, yeah.
Okay. As long as you don't mind taking that responsibility.
Nope, it's fine. Can do that.
Do we have a certificate of compliance form lying around or something? So, before I make the motion.
We have. Do you have a copy of that, Charlie?
So, the form?
Form?
No, I do not.
No, do you have a copy?
No, not right now.
COC form?
I can't go and
No.
print it right out for you.
Yeah, 'cause I'm not seeing one in here.
Do we have one of the other files there? Or?
Did you send it in with the check, or did you give it to Miska?
What's that?
The filing for the order,
The request.
certificate of compliance?
No, I just, gave her a letter request on,
Come on, Kevin, you've done this before.
believe me, everything's changing day by day. And now they have the fire department or tax collectors now too, you know that? You
Yeah.
go get a smoke inspection, you gotta show that taxes are paid.
Yeah.
Boy,
Oh, right, yeah. We're all supposed to be
tax collectors.
policing that now, I guess. That's the one problem about this not being our office.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Okay. Did you see the, did you get a chance to look at the mitigation report for 6 Kathleen Drive?
I don't think I have.
No,
Is that, did she just send that to us today?
it's tied up. Well, she sent it to us,
I
but.
know there was some stuff she sent to us. Oh, hang on. I think I have a copy in here. So I saw it, I have not read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one
Yeah,
here?
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it, but I have not read it So then I think we wanna issue a
Partial, yes.
The project areas of work subject to this partial notification that have been completed and are released from this order are. So we're supposed to say what is released rather than saying what is still in effect, according to this form. But I guess what we wanna say is that all the work is released except for.
Yeah.
Except for the,
Establishment of the lawn area.
and we want the $2,000 bond, right? For that?
Yes.
Okay, so.
And also the submittal of the final as-built with grading and
Right.
the connections to the roof drains.
This is gonna be a long motion.
Better write it down.
Because this is gonna be a motion for us to empower the chair to issue a partial certificate of compliance, releasing all the work except for the establishment of the lawn area, provided that the chair first receive a $2,000 bond for the establishment of the lawn area, and the as-built that includes the spot grades on the driveway and the pipe connectors to the roof drain. Did you get that?
No.
I've been working on it for 10 minutes and I'm still not done, in order to do it correctly.
You could do this, go with grass growing and don't give it to us. Charlie doesn't have that plan in your hand. That's like,
Are you hinting at something?
you need motivation.
No, I make a promise, it's as good as gold.
What phone number is this?
This is DEP 182 463.
463.
No? I didn't need a new tape for this motion.
Does that take long enough for this motion?
connectors to the roof drain or the roof infiltrator, is that what we're gonna call them?
Either one.
And the connectors to the roof drains. Alright, so I'll say it again. I move that we empower the chair to issue a partial certificate of compliance on DEP number 182-463, releasing all work except for the establishment of the lawn area, provided the chair first receives a $2,000 bond for the establishment of the lawn area and a new as-built plan to include spot grades on the end of the driveway and the connectors to the roof drains.
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor? That's unanimous. Oh, and a check.
Guys, thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Frank, I'll
Thank
have
you,
this,
Al.
I'll have this here Wednesday.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Is that gonna be, is someone there, Kevin? I can go out there and inspect it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, you don't need, there's nobody in the house, or.
No, but will someone be there with a plan, or?
Oh, yeah, I'll pick it up from Charlie if we have to.
Okay.
And I'll have Charlie call you or something, just to save him a trip. I can meet you on the site, whatever's good.
Okay.
I mean, is there a better time than others? You never know.
Just, once you get the plan, just let me know, and
Okay.
I'll meet you
Oh,
up there,
just to go, no, okay.
take a look at it.
Guys, thanks.
Thank you.
Guys, take care, have a good night. Thanks for your help.
Have a nice night.
Thank you.
Okay, last
Oh, here's the conditions.
Okay, moving on. DEP 182-472, 6 Kathleen Drive. We have a mitigation report from Ken Thompson, outlining all the requests. DEP is made for the mitigation on the property. Also, they included the monitoring methods, the reporting methods to us and to DEP, construction stage schedule. Monitoring will be for invasive species and removal of, if need be. From my understanding, DEP has approved this plan and is requesting that the plan be done under the enforcement. Any questions about the plan?
That's basically going right back the way it was, right? That's what this is all about.
Pretty much, yeah. Yep. They're filling, or they're replicating 314 square feet. Can account for 3,014 square feet is being replicated for a taking of 3,010 square feet. So it's a little over.
Nice. So they're putting it right back where it was?
Yes,
So he's removing the shed and the pool?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically going back to pre-existing conditions.
And this was in consultation with the DEP, or was this an appeal that,
They appealed it to DEP, so it's under DEP's, they're working with us, but,
Right.
it's under their regulations.
so they appealed it to DEP, and DEP was even less thrilled than we were.
Yes.
Good. Happy to hear it.
Any questions about the report?
No.
No? Questions from the public?
Is this your print of the as-built? What it is, just out of curiosity? You know, when I spoke to the DEP too, when they said that he was actually going, that, Kenneth spoke to him and said he's gonna do what you guys recommended originally, which I'm going to assume is put back and was taken out, I don't know. I'm just curious where this came from.
That,
Who generated it, you know what I mean?
Ken probably pulled that, I would assume, from the subdivision report.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah. DEP had some pretty extensive aerial photos and, of before and after. I don't know if you saw those.
I did.
Yeah.
I did, that's what I'm saying, is when we went through this whole process,
Yep.
there was a kind of, not an argument, but a conversation on whether the original drawings ever happened or not. That's why I don't know, is this Ken's drawing of his interpretation of what it should have been?
No,
Or
that's,
what it was? Like, I don't think there was ever any drawings, because the subdivision never actually got finished. So I don't know if there was ever any drawings that said.
well, no, what was in question was the culvert at the road. Whether it was ever built or
Yeah.
not, that was what was in question.
Yeah.
I believe, I wanna say, the plan was done by, they have Hardy Engineering out there?
You're saying they did?
No, I'm asking.
I haven't seen anything.
They had an engineer out there,
I mean, I just question my property next door too, just to see, what they use it as a form of record, so I know my own property, you know, what we're looking at, where the information came from, that's all.
yeah. I know a lot of it came from, aerial photographs, but, let me see here.
Like, is there an original drawing that you guys have with the elevations on it, or?
I
Of an
believe
as-built?
there is one, because
Yeah,
I've gone
no,
out
there
there
is.
with Billy to,
Notice of
measure.
intent, right there. Oh, was this for the, oh. Is one of the aerials, if you wanna take a look at this one.
Oh, I know the pictures, I mean, I was there when it was done, my question just is,
Oh, yeah, here's the, okay, so here's, DEP's overview
yeah,
of the original, this is when the house was built,
yeah,
and there's the original silt fence line,
yeah.
okay? That's from DEP. Oh, actually, both of these are from DEP.
Yeah.
This is what they sent us. And then they also sent us, there you go, right there. Yeah. So it was, you know, obviously, you know, if you put those together, it was,
That's what I'm saying, if you look at this drawing, and then you look at that drawing, where'd this drawing come from?
that's a aerial photo,
I know, who drew on it?
me.
So where were you going from this?
No.
I'm just going by like.
You could actually see it. You could see in the ground.
Yeah,
Um,
well, that's what I'm saying, look at where you're seeing where it is and where this is. I'm curious what I use for my own land, like if I go pull this from the room next door. You know what I mean? Is this is an original drawing?
no. I'm looking for an as-built in the file here. Is this whole file the enforcement, or is this, but do you have another file for that? The original file?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay. I'll mix this stuff up here, so. That. Okay, so here's the original silt fence line right there. The wetland flag line was right there. So if you look at this here, you know, to kind of lay that over, this is the line that the original wetland line
Yeah.
that they're going by. I mean, they did it all, they laid
Yeah, that's, I was
everything
just curious
over.
if they came from, so I should have one of those too.
Yeah.
Get you. All right.
You can have that, you can have this. This is our copy, you can
Yeah,
get
I
a
think,
copy.
I have a copy of all that.
Okay. It's in there. This one here was, June 18, 2002. This copy. September. Lot 6.
Just don't get it, you could avoid the whole thing by putting it all over in here.
Huh?
Why couldn't you just, why didn't you just put a pool here and a shed there? I could avoid the whole thing. It's not like there's no land there. Other people are in much tighter situations. So we don't have to take any action on this, right?
No. It's just a. No, it's just an update. Any other questions you have?
How long do they have to comply? How do they say when they're gonna?
They
Well, they have 2 growing seasons as far as the,
well, as far as establishing the plant coverage.
Right.
So if it doesn't happen the first season, it has to happen the second season.
I mean, they need 2 seasons to grow, but I mean to actually dig it out and plant.
That is, they couldn't do anything until the mitigation, plan was approved. Okay, so,
So is that what you guys are doing tonight, approving it?
we don't have to approve it because DEP, issued it, okay? They approved it and it's been appealed to DEP. So it's just basically a board notification, and we're gonna be overviewing what's going on to make sure that per this plan, this is what's happening, you know, so, if you have any questions along the line, you can feel free to call, you know, and, if we've made site visits and whatnot, we can
I
answer.
mean, did Ken say when they're gonna start, or?
He was waiting for it to get approved, it is now approved, so I haven't heard from Ken exactly when the construction's gonna start. I'm assuming it's gonna start fairly soon. But I will, you know, I'll find out when exactly that's going to be, and, you know, it's not gonna get pushed off like everything has been. It's,
Yeah.
now we have a plan. I think, they're probably ready to just put this behind them and move on, get the mitigation done, so.
there is no particular date listed in here.
Yeah.
No.
There's plenty of time sequences as far as establishing the replication area and when it's supposed to be reported and all that stuff, but
Mhm.
it doesn't really specify a specific
That's, I mean, if they could wait
begin date.
10 years and then, once they do it,
No, he has two
Growing
growing
season?
seasons.
2 growing seasons to have it established. In other words, once he plants it, it has to be established.
His question is, how long does he have before he has to have everything planted?
Well, he has 2 growing
But-
seasons.
No.
Per this, he has
No,
2
no.
growing
He
seasons.
can't-
How long
plant
until he
until
has
it's
to start
taken
putting
out.
in trees?
Correct.
So
He has 2 growing seasons to
Plant
make this
seasons to
work.
get that done.
So if he wants to do it next year,
Oh,
he
he has 2
can,
growing
but he only
seasons
has.
just to plant it. I thought it.
No, maybe I'm not being clear. He has
Okay.
2 growing seasons for this to be established and viable. So he can start a year and a half from now, but it better be viable in 6 months,
Oh, I
okay?
getcha.
So he has 2 growing
follow you.
seasons to do this, so,
That's how you're reading, I getcha.
so I'm assuming they're gonna start now. I'll get some clarification on that, but, he has 2 growing seasons, so.
He wanted to make sure he couldn't wait 10 years,
No.
plant it,
And then
wait 2
have 2
growing.
years. No, he has 2 growing seasons from now, you know, from the approval of this plan. So he has next summer and the summer after to make
To get
sure.
it viable.
Yep. So, you know, the board wants the work done obviously as soon as possible, so. The second year is more just to make sure that everything is working per plan. It's not to do the work, it's the, you know, the work should be done within the first year.
Maybe you guys could donate them 15 trees?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Any other questions?
No, that's it, I'm all set.
All right.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Chalk up one for us?
Thank you.
Thank you.
13 Bel Air, tree removal?
Yeah. Should have a copy of the
Oh, I saw that.
email,
I
yeah.
did, yeah.
So they didn't come in yet, file the RDA, but.
Okay. Oh, this is from Tim.
I keep telling Tim to call me.
So we're
so.
ready for paperwork.
So Tim went to 13 Bel Air and he took a look at the trees in the backyard. He spoke to someone there, they would like to cut all the trees behind the fence, which is approximately the boundary of the wetland area, according to the plan on file. Some are tall pines, 2 or 3, which could be a threat in a storm. Anyway, I told him to file an RDA to mark the trees they wanna cut so we can see exactly what they plan on removing. So you should be coming in to get the paperwork and schedule a hearing. So did they request us?
No, not yet.
They didn't, okay. All right, so we can wait until they file the paperwork on that. Actually, I'll take a look at it while I'm at 9. Okay. That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Any other board business?
We have minutes, but do we have a?
Yeah, we can't check them, I
Still
just,
can?
no, because it's only
No,
3
me too.
to vote. So you're gonna have something
That's okay, I'm
to
going to
read
a
next
June meeting. I have to get up at 4 AM to bring my father and brother to the airport.
Oh,
So.
boy.
And then go teach all day.
All right,
Motion to adjourn.
Second motion.
motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion,